25F/31 meters, boyfriend lies extensively to me to make me feel wanted/special. Realizing I'm not. Hi Reddit. I've been with my BF for 2 years now. Basically, I found out that he told me a lot of lies about his past relationships. He lied about how much he liked them, the kinds of things and how much he did with them, sexually FX, how much he pursued them, how he took them out and did things that he supposedly only did with me, how he initiated it, how interested he was, how long things went on for and how many etc. I believe it was because he wanted to feed me this narrative that I was the best, the most amazing, the first real relationship, the first girl he'd actively pursued etc. And I just lapped it all up and believed it. I know. How could I write? But honestly, he pushed this agenda hard. I didn't ask. But he would constantly shower me with all these compliments and it was hard not to get swept up. All the truth came out when he met an ex of his, that he had not told me was an ex of his. He then spilled out multiple girls who he had lied about his sexual history with that he was still in contact with. These girls were ones I'd noticed him looking up on social media, and when I asked who they were, he made up various stories including them being exes of his friends. Turns out they're all women he slept with. He's since stopped looking them up, but it does bother me. I didn't ask for him to lie. He was the one volunteering all this information unsolicited. But I confronted him and this all came out. What's worse is he feels justified in his lying. He thinks he deserves praise for admitting his lies, and also tells me he just wanted to make me feel special/wanted, so he embellished the truth or whatever. He proceeded to tell me they weren't serious to him anyway and he just wanted sex, which doesn't exactly paint him in a good light to me. He admitted similarly lying to them to make them feel better supposedly. When I mentioned this, he again said he just wanted to make me feel better and that was a lie too. Ugh. Why can't he just be honest? Exclamation mark. It's hard for me to think about it because even thinking about his exes makes me feel anxious now. I am aware that it may be naive to believe him the best. I also am aware that he doesn't need to tell me about his past. I have had multiple exes and didn't even know the names of their exes. It's not something I ask, but he did, without me asking, and he pretty much lied about everything in order to make me believe he liked me a lot. Which makes me wonder if it isn't really true. So then I started questioning him and got way more into than I ever needed. I guess my question is, should I be concerned at the extent of his lies? Or is it something I should try and get over given his lies relate to the past and he's with me now, and by and large treats me well? I'm finding it difficult to believe anything he says given he just says what he thinks I want to hear. By the way, this has been going on for over a year now. I've given him plenty of chances to stop lying and be honest with me, but he just keeps doing it. Hence why I'm posting, because communicating did not make him stop. Too long didn't read. Boyfriend has lied extensively about his past. He claims this was just to make me feel wanted and special, but finding it hard to trust him. Oh boy. The fact that he volunteered all that information, lied about it, and is proud of his lying, are 3 huge red flags. He sounds like a big-time manipulator and not trustworthy at all. Is this really the kind of person you want to date? I have 2 opinions to give on this. I guess my question is, should I be concerned at the extent of his lies? Or is it something I should try and get over given his lies relate to the past and he's with me now, and by and large treats me well? You've answered your own question with this. This has been going on for over a year now. I've given him plenty of chances to stop lying and be honest with me, but he just keeps doing it. Hence why I'm posting, because communicating did not make him stop. As people in this sub love to say, when someone tells you who they are, believe them. The fact that he volunteered all these lies to you, that he's done it to past girlfriends, and that he doesn't stop even after being called out suggests he may be a compulsive/pathological liar. I believe it was because he wanted to feed me this narrative that I was the best. That's the thing, it was just a narrative for him to push. You don't need to accept his lies. The right person really will think you are the best and they'll show it to you by communicating honestly with you, not just by telling you what they think you want to hear. When people show you who they are, believe them. He has shown you that he is a liar. Believe him. And end the relationship now before the lies get worse, because they will. Why would he even have to bring up anyone else to make you feel special? He's an ass, he's a liar, and what makes you believe that his lies stop there? Sorry, I know you're probably hurting RN, but you should take these questions into consideration. Why would you get over this? Why should you give him another chance? Why should you believe him about anything? Why should you trust him? Why should you believe his excuses for lying? Why do you even consider staying with a guy who repeatedly lies to you? My 27F boyfriend, 26M, has been lying to me about why I can't meet his parents. Is this circumstance a run or forgive him situation? So for some context, we have only been dating for a year. I am a hijabi, Muslim woman who wears a hijab. This comes up in a bit, which is why I'm mentioning it. My boyfriend and his family are non-religious. My parents really like him. They had met many times when we were newly dating, and now we live in the basement of my parents' house and they get along great. Him not being religious is not an issue at all in our family. Everyone really gets along. My dad always jokes with him that he will live vicariously through him when my boyfriend drinks beer on holidays. My father does not drink alcohol, so it's just a running joke between them. It is very cute. The thing is, I haven't met his family yet. First he said it was because they were just too busy with selling their house. Then it was his dad was starting another branch of his business, so that's why they were too busy. Then COVID happened, which I understand, but then we couldn't video call because his parents didn't know how. Apparently there was always an excuse. So this morning my boyfriend ran out for groceries. We just moved in together into the basement suite of my parents' house. Yes, I know premarital living is frowned upon by some in my culture, but my family is open-minded, and he forgot his phone. I don't snoop, so I just left it on the table so he would see it when he got back. Well, as I was putting it down, his mom FaceTimed him. I knew it was her because her contact name is Mom in his phone. At a time when he would normally be at work, he unexpectedly got the day off. So I decided to answer because I really wanted to introduce myself. She was very stunned when I answered that call and asked where her son was. Introduced myself and let her know he had popped out, but it was great to finally meet her. She took a long pause and then said, "My son never told me that you wear that thing on your head. Take it off while I'm speaking to you. I don't like it." I was really stunned and didn't know what to say. I ended up just hanging up the call. When my boyfriend got home and I asked him about it, he ended up telling me that he didn't know how his family would react to him dating a brown girl, especially a hijabi, and he didn't want them to hurt my feelings, so he's been putting it off for a long time and giving each of us excuses about why we haven't met. He said it's the only thing he's lied about to either of us and that he was just trying to protect me. I feel really hurt and like he's ashamed of me, and I don't really know how to handle this. Is this red flag, run for the hills because he's obviously a liar situation, or a mistake that is understandable? This is my first serious relationship and I'm just looking for some advice. I'm not even sure how to feel about it. Too long didn't read. My boyfriend has been hiding me from his parents because he was worried they're too bigoted and would hurt my feelings. Is this acceptable to forgive or a sign to run? I think it really depends on how involved his family is in his life. If they're largely peripheral, then I could see his claim that he was just trying to avoid exposing you to their bigotry being true, though he should have just been upfront with you about the issue instead of leaving you to wonder. But if he's really close with them, I'd be more inclined to see it as him hiding you to avoid having to actually address this. Don't think they're very close, to be totally honest. He doesn't really talk about them very often, and he does comment sometimes on how it took him a while to adjust to how close my family is. Like when we moved in together, he commented on how often I call my mom just to chat and that he didn't realize people did that as often as I do, probably once every other day or sometimes every day. With COVID I can't go upstairs to see them, so we just phone. And my dad leaves food for us at the back door a lot. He seemed uncomfortable to be in a close family at first, but now really likes it. Boy, do I really wish he'd just leveled with you and said, "Hey, my parents have some pretty strong biases against hijabis. I don't share their views, but I do want to warn you that they may not be respectful if/when you meet them. he could have saved you from this incredibly awkward and painful encounter. Instead he left you totally in the dark and made himself look shady. Think, at the very least, this warrants a serious conversation about how you'll both approach uncomfortable topics with each other in the future. Avoiding necessary communication because it feels weird or bad to talk about is not going to set a strong foundation of trust and respect in a relationship. If his family doesn't approve of him dating you, that's something you need to know sooner rather than later, so you can make an informed choice about whether or not you're up for a relationship with someone whose family may never accept you. There's two sides to this, I believe. It's a red flag that he didn't tell you this was why, but I could understand him being embarrassed about racist/bigoted parents. I think you two need to talk this out and confront the issue. For sure. We've had a really great discussion today thankfully, and we have a game plan about going forward and speaking to his parents about it. I feel really hurt and like he's ashamed of me. Seems like he's ashamed of them, not you. I, F20, have been with my partner, M24, for over 2 years. I thought he was perfect, but now I have found out he may not be the person I thought and I don't know what to do. Please help. I have been with my boyfriend for over 2 years. I wanted to spend my life with him. However, almost a month ago, I planned B-day drinks for him. Into the night, I overheard him bragging to his friend about a girl in work asking for his number and another asking to be on shifts with him. He was whispering because he did not want me to hear while sat downstairs with his friend's GF. When calmly confronting him about this, he acted in a way I have never seen in over 2 years of being with him. He was shouting, he tried to up and leave our friend's house without me, he tried to phone a taxi. He was physically sick. He just went into fight or flight mode that made him look very suspicious. He then gaslighted me, telling me I'm ridiculous and making things up. My suspicion and shock led me to act out of character myself and log into his Facebook Messenger, where I found a group chat with 2 separate girls from work where he was flirting with one in particular. The way he was talking was nothing like I'd ever heard come from his mouth. It was also disrespectful. I rang him to question what I'd found. In response, he hung up on me and ran to text me rather than actually speaking on the phone with me. I gave him leg to stand on finding this chat, so rather than explaining it to me, he turned it on me and how I'd invaded his privacy, etc. He then ghosted me for days, something he would never do. I eventually gave in and contacted him to meet up, where his words assured me he loved me, but his actions just never followed. He won't make effort to try and fix this. He won't call or FaceTime me because he's busy with work. All I get is a text every now and then. But his words are that he loves me. But he shouts if I bring up what happened because I am still trying to process it, and he won't give me answers or take responsibility. His stories for why it happened were straight up lies because they clash and don't make sense. He's dug himself a huge hole for something that could be quashed had he just turned his actions. He wants to be with me but at the same time was really negative, saying I won't trust him from now on, and a break won't work, like reverse psychology, but was unable to give any proper suggestions as to what we can do to move forward. And now we are on a break and just in limbo, not knowing what to do. It's like my world has exploded and he lit the bomb and now expects me to make all the decisions when I've only ever been good to him. Firstly, am I overthinking and overreacting, or is that just gaslighting? I just need any advice on what to do, please. Do you think there is more to what has happened and that, with his reactions, do you think he was actually cheating and I just don't know that yet? Should I stay with him and try get past it or end things? And how do I go about either? How do I put this right, or how do I break up without going back to him and messaging him in a few weeks? Too long didn't read : ; should I stay with him or end things?